Okay, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Let's Connect Now, your business resource. Now, don't forget to watch the previous episodes we have on Facebook, YouTube. I mean, we're even trending on TikTok.
Yeah.
I mean, Instagram. Okay, guys, so make sure you guys are going there, checking it out, because, you know, now all of a sudden Valerie's all over everything now, so I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
We're getting calls. Who's that girl? Who's that girl?
Who's her?
Yeah, who is she? Her name starts with a V. What is it again? And I'm like, yeah, obviously you're not watching.
Okay,
you're just looking at the photo.
We just gotta say Valerie. Or we should start playing with Valerie Loves Me.
Yes! Yes! I love it.
Hey, I'm Michael.
I'm Ralph.
Welcome to Munoz and Munoz.
Come check it out. Here at Munoz and Munoz, every case is important to us. Big or small, small or big, we're here to help you.
And here also, privacy is our #1 priority for all of our clients. So come check it out. Our #1 priority is serving the community. We want to give the best attorney service out there in the industry. We're here to help you. Please call us for any personal injury or criminal defense needs that you may need.
So thank you guys for visiting our firm. As you can see, I'm here, Michael's here, always ready to serve you guys for any questions. And please, do not hesitate to call us for anything you need. It could be the simple question, we're here for you. Y sí, hablamos español.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and cheeks and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the show with Let's Connect Now. My name is Danielle Wood. I'm with Prospectors Federal Credit Union, a division of Certified Federal. You guys want to contact us regarding any banking needs or even auto loans and personal loans, feel free to contact me at any time. You can reach me at 909-396-9688 or 909-504-7371. I'm looking forward to talking and speaking with you all soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
So today we have Nate Mejia with Drees Business Resource.
Yes.
And yes, so we have him here today because he has Drees Business Resources.
Yes.
So
Yep.
the
Dreams.
reason that we brought him in today, and also he can provide a lot of different resources to businesses, not only businesses, but also on the personal level. So as entrepreneurs and business owners, you at the end of the day also have to sustain a family. You have to take care of yourself at a personal level. So with that being said, it's very important that you have your finances in place on the personal before you get into entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. But before we get started and talk about everything that he does, well, we're not going to get into it, so we plan on bringing him in the future because we only have, 15 minutes?
Yes,
30
yes,
minutes?
about 15, 20 minutes, yes. Yeah.
So, Nate, first off, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know it was a little bit of a drive, so we definitely appreciate your time. But, yeah, tell us a little bit about you and just overall what you do.
Okay. No, first of all, I just want to say thank you guys for hosting me. You know, Val said, Nate, I have this opportunity for you to talk about these, whatever's you're passionate about. I said, heck yeah, because realistically, there's a lot of other people, that do similar things to what I do. So I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys. For myself, I did a lot. I was telling Val before, I did a lot in the property and casualty market for a long time. So I've done claims. I've done fraudulent claims. I've done business development. I was a territory manager in California and in Phoenix. But then when I came back here in 2023, just due to some personal reasons, that's when the P&C market was not expanding. They were shutting things down. You guys probably remember. It was horrible. It was really, really bad. So that's when I had to make a transition into financial services. I met with a friend of a friend, and he was doing it essentially virtually, remotely. And so that was my first go. I just jumped 2 feet into it, coming back into California. That didn't work out too great, realistically, but then I transitioned into estate planning, and that's kind of what I've been mainly focused on. just helping people understand, the benefit of a trust, but not just the trust, just making sure they have everything in order when they're retiring, when they're looking at retirement. And so just making sure they have their T's crossed and their I's dotted. Because a lot of times when they're looking at their trust or their estate, they know about trust and probate, but there's so many other things that can impact them that they just don't have a plan for. And so I make sure, these are some other things that you need to be concerned about. And so just bringing that to light to them, that's one of the things I really like about it, is that I'm educating people. Every time I meet with people, even if they don't necessarily have, per se, assets, I'm able to educate them, and I like that. Right? If I leave a conversation and I know that they learned something they didn't know, I think that's a good conversation. So you just don't know where it's going to go from there. But that's really kind of the main thing that I'm doing right now.
Now, if you listen to Nate's story, he has something in common with a lot of entrepreneurs. Sometimes you're put in a place and where you're just forced to go into entrepreneurship and maybe follow your passion, right? So I think a lot of us end up finding out hey, this is probably my niche. This is probably the direction that I should go. And that's one of the reasons what I love about entrepreneurship is that sometimes you're forced to do something that you're not ready to do.
Yes.
And so tell me a little bit about that. How did that make you feel? Did you have family at the time?
Yeah. I mean, so the main reason I came back was because of my kids. So I'm separated. We co-parent very well, which I thank God for. So when I came back, I was trying very hard to go into property and casualty. That's my network. But I just couldn't find anything. I was just running into brick wall. Having said that, I think looking back, I know for myself, if I had found something, I never would have pursued entrepreneurship. I never would have seen the opportunity that's available. Nothing against corporate jobs, but I've been there, and the reality is that your income is essentially capped. Right? Almost no matter how. And I would be in those situations where I remember, as a claims adjuster, even if you do really well and somebody's not doing as well, you're both getting paid almost exactly the same. So when you move to entrepreneurship, especially in financial services and other things like that, you really have that potential to impact your bottom line. And that's one of the things I always enjoyed about the business development side, is that it wasn't just, doing a job, clocking in and out. It was driving and impacting the bottom line, right? So that when the premium went, let's say, from 50 million to 55 million, it's I did that, right? I had a part to play in that.
Yeah.
And so just, opening your eyes to entrepreneurship, being on your own, it's scary. I'll say that. So
we know.
Yeah, it's hard. When you start from ground zero, and I pretty much started from ground zero. But I tell you, I've learned so much. You learn a lot about yourself.
Definitely.
And you have to learn a lot about things
time management.
But I'll give you an example. When I learned how to do the annuity marketing online, I learned about Facebook ads. I learned about ad optimization. I learned about click-through rate. I had to create my own web. No one does that for you. Yeah. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So you're watching videos and you're bouncing. You're networking with people. I mean, you're doing everything you possibly can to make your dream come alive. Because I know for myself, once you see the potential, it's really hard to go back.
Right. Once you get a little taste of it, right?
Yes.
Oh my God, I really can't do this.
Yeah.
I really can't do this. Yeah. And then you just step out.
Yeah.
Now, Nate, I know that you and I communicate on it pretty consistently, and I know that you're always bringing different resources. And I know just recently, I think it was last week, you brought a resource that I'm we need to share this information. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so this is probably the thing, I'm most excited about. It's a payroll tax savings plan. The brand is called the Quantum Health Plan, okay? Now, I love this opportunity for a few reasons. I just want to say this. The first one, it's relatively new to the market. So that's, right, if you're looking for an opportunity, right, a lot of people sell life insurance, a lot of people sell annuities, trusts. Yes. This opportunity is leading the edge. It's leading the edge right now. So what it is, it's a payroll tax savings program where if a company has at least, we generally aim for about 10 full-time employees, they can save on average $600 to $800 per year per employee on their payroll taxes. Which is amazing, right? Now, the best part, it's generally also cash flow positive to the business. There's no cost to the business, no cost to the employee. Usually the employee's paycheck will go up by between $80 to $100 a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and the benefits are amazing, right? So I'll just give you a little success story, which is pretty exciting. One of the people in our network that's promoting this plan, knew obviously the right person, but it was a 30,000 person business, 30,000 employees.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Generally, that's not our size, our market.
Yeah.
But you know the right person, you can get it in front of them.
Correct.
We competed with 4 other carriers with similar plans, and we won.
Oh, wow.
Our plan beat everybody else.
Wow.
So a lot of people have come on board. Hospitals have come on board. Different businesses have come on board with it. So what it has is it's an indemnity plan. I'll just go over a few of the benefits. If you're in a hospital, right, there's up to $1,000 a day for hospitalization, up to $500 for the ambulance benefit. There's a critical illness accident benefit to it. There's an ER benefit to it. The whole family can receive teledoc services. So not just you. Let's say you're the employee, right? Your whole family has access to a teledoc, right? So there's about 1,400 drugs covered on this prescription drug plan that are, can help. And get this, there's even a veterinary, a teledoc veterinary service.
What?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
My
So, a lot of people love
lot
that.
of dog
My
lovers.
dog would love that.
Yeah, exactly. So, there's all these benefits. The hard part really is just getting it out there, like so many
Right.
things.
Yeah, getting it out
right,
there, yeah.
getting it out there, educating people,
Right.
letting people know, look, this is an opportunity for you, or your business can improve. Because I get it, they're bombarded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all of us, right? When you're running a business, you're just trying to make payroll and trying to just impact that bottom line. Someone's like, hey, so I'm excited about it. I really am.
So how
Yeah.
do the businesses know about this particular plan?
Yeah, so what there's a link, there's a website I send to people that answers probably 90% of the questions they're going to have about it. And then at the very bottom, they input some basic information, and then the company will reach out to them and actually have a conversation, right? So generally, it's going to be probably 2 conversations, I would say. The first question, or the first conversation will be the general, who are you guys, right?
Right.
You're like, how does this work? What are the benefits? What's the ranges? Just the different things. Has anybody done it like my company? All valid questions. And maybe the structuring, of that company, just to understand it. But then the second conversation would be, okay, now we need your census, right? So let's just say somebody says, you know what, I got nothing to lose, right? That's the thing. You have nothing to lose. So they submit their information for their employees. Are they single? Are they married?
Right.
Age? Which is pretty typical, like when you're shopping for group health insurance. Same type of information. They submit that. Then they'll get a free report. Again, there's no obligation to it. And they can say, okay, in your case, let's say it's you, JR. JR, you're going to save $700 per year, per employee that enrolls, and they give you the report. And then our company handles all the onboarding, all the enrollment process, all of that. So it's just a matter of just introducing it to businesses.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
But it does have to be 10 full-time employees or more.
We can actually go lower, but we try to aim for at least 10 full-time.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing, though, that's important is a lot of people go, well, Nate, is it health insurance? It's not health insurance. It's a supplement. So in California, if you have 50, this is how it is right now. If you have 50 full-time employees, you have to offer health insurance.
Right.
So I think the market personally is below that, because you're going to have a lot of companies at 10, 15, 20 employees. They're making money, but they can't afford health insurance.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they can implement this and say, you guys, until we're there, your whole family has a teledoc service, and there's some indemnity plans in place. We have some prescription drug coverage, and their paycheck goes up.
So if they do have insurance, can it be combined with
Yes.
their insurance as
Yep.
well? Like if their insurance only pays this much, but maybe the supplemental pays pays for the whole thing.
Yeah. And that's usually what supplemental plans are for. Supplemental plans are for the out-of-pocket costs, right? So a lot of one that most people are familiar with is like Aflac.
Right.
Right. So let's say you're out sick or whatever the case, there's certain coverages. They're going to automatically pay you like $50 for the day, even if you don't need it. That's a similar way to the way that this plan works, right? So this plan is to cover your out-of-pocket costs, right? It's for inpatient, ER, whatever may happen to you.
Wow. No, it sounds great. I mean,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, definitely.
Well,
Yeah.
me being out all the time, this is actually the first time that you said this is fairly new.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a few plans, again, that are similar to it. I honestly don't know the names of the competitors. I just know the name of this plan. But it's getting out there. Like, I think it was at the expo you were at with me. I was out there talking to all the businesses, right? They're all trying to sell me. And then I'm like, okay, well, how many employees do you have? Right?
You flipped it on
Yeah,
them.
exactly. I flipped it like, to everybody. I'm like, well, hey, do you have at least 10 or more employees? They're like, oh, yeah. Like, have you heard of the payroll tax savings? It's great.
I love it,
And they
man.
needed you, right? Yeah. You guys stuck around on them.
Yeah. I mean, and they can't go anywhere, right? They have to sit in their booth. It's great.
They had no choice.
Yeah. It was like,
You got me.
so I just educated them. But even there at that convention or that expo, they said, oh yeah, they said, you know what? Some other people are talking about this program. So people are going to hear about this. We just want to be first. That's all, right? I mean, because there's going to be things that just, and as it is with most things, right? It gets out there, it gets momentum, and then people start talking about it, and most companies are going to have some type of a plan like this. But right now, it is still newer. So yeah,
Yeah, like
great.
my wife, I can't get insurance with her because they don't provide.
She's not claiming you?
No, she's claiming
She
me.
don't want to claim you?
She don't want to claim me. Yeah, shoot. No, but it's saying like for me to get on her insurance, it's almost like over $600 a month just to be on her insurance.
Yeah.
They cover her full, but me, it's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy and stuff. But I kind of like what you're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna talk after.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to help a lot of people. The cost of health insurance right now is sky
You
high.
you can't get it.
Not me. I'm saying.
Introduce
You
it
can
to
if
her.
you hire
Introduce
10
it.
Yeah,
employees.
because she's a head of HR in her company, and I'm sure would be something great because they do have over 300 employees. Right?
Yeah, they have a lot of employees.
Yeah, so it is funny because one of the things they did tell us on the Zoom meetings is not in this case, right, perhaps, but generally they go, oh, yeah, well, let me tell my HR department. And what we have found is that the HR departments don't get on board because they're not interested realistically in saving money. They just want things to not be done illegally because that's really what the HR
true,
is for.
it's true.
That's true.
HR is for labor law and to make sure, okay, we're correct, right? They're not. So we always want to put it in front of decision makers, the general manager, the owner, the vice president, because when you sit like that, right? When you open with that line, have you heard about the way to save $600 to $800 per year on payroll taxes for all your employees? They're like, tell me more.
Yeah, you basically got to talk to the payroll department. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, forget it then. If it's out of the question.
No,
I know the payroll department person too. So, hello.
I think you might have an in.
Yes.
that could work. But yeah, it is. It's exciting. And again, it's something, when you're looking, and it kind of goes back to like entrepreneurship, right? Whenever you have an opportunity that's kind of first to market or relatively new, and it's a residual opportunity, like that's where you want to be. I mean, all these other things are great and people need it, right? But that's exciting to me, right?
Nate, so this show is really about, well, first, being able to empower entrepreneurs and all that, right? But then also anybody that's trying to transition, they're a little afraid, and also hear everybody's story. So something that maybe you can tell our audience of maybe a tip, something that they can take home, something that can resonate with them. What would you say?
Ooh, I think that's a tough one. I think the main thing is that if you really do have the passion for it and you say, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's really one of the things I thought of when I was making the jump to just be on my own. Is being a business development person with all these insurance agents. I was around hundreds of insurance agents who at one point made the jump. They had no safety net, right? They just opened a shop and wanted to sell home and auto insurance. And they made it happen. And there's hundreds of them, right? And so that was part of the thing I thought about. But I would say to that person, I would say, look, one of the most important things would be find some mentors, find some people who have gone down the path you're thinking of going, and ask them, say, what would you have done different? What can I do today, right, that helps me? And that's one thing that helps me is that find some people that are hungry, just like you, right?
That's right.
That are just kind of in the same, age group, age bracket that are trying to go for more, right? There's going to be some people that are already successful, And sometimes they're not the most helpful, let's be honest. They've kind of made it.
Yeah.
And they don't have time.
I was just having a conversation with JR about that, exactly what you just said. You know, once they're at the top, they don't care about the people below as much as they should.
Yeah. So when you find though the hungry people, right, your friends and some people that are trying to break out of that 9 to 5, and I mean, even with me and my fellow advisors, right, we're always talking to each other. What are you doing? What do you think about this? What do you think about that opportunity? And we're always bouncing ideas off each other, right? So that's because it can be done. That's the truth, you know. And you'll meet people, and I'm pretty sure you guys have too. You go, if that person can make it, I can make it.
Absolutely.
They say that about me. She's that. Why are you laughing?
No, I just think too. You know, if you're passionate about something, you know, most likely you'll find a way. You know, you'll find a way. It's just taking a leap of faith.
Yeah.
It's always about taking that leap of faith and really believing in yourself that you could do something and really change someone's life. I mean, someone's lives. You know, with what you have. You know, what you have to offer, and I think you've done that. And no, we definitely want to share this information. I just want to share a little something. We have this particular plaza has walkers, and the majority of them are you know, older folks, and we have one that has become like a dad, like just so dear to us.
Yeah, he comes in here. Yes.
You know, you always think that because he's retired, he was in the trucking business anyway, that they're set for life, you know, and then just in talking to him and he was having some issues with his wife. He tells us, you know, because I told him, I said, do you have life insurance? And I don't know why I asked that. It must have been because of something we were talking about. And he's like, no. And then I said, you know, his name's Ernie. I'm sure he's not going to mind. He's probably going to watch this and be like, you mentioned my name. And so as we got to talking, we found out that he has nothing. He has nothing, and he's retired with 2 older children that still live at home.
Yeah.
And you know, his wife, and so then he's like, well, can you help me? And I said, Ernie, you're 77 years old. How do you not know about this? I mean, it was like, but I need to give him your information because we were trying to look online for something, and it just didn't pan out. But yeah, he's definitely. I mean, I get concerned about people like that because you never know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, what can happen, or what kind of, you know, how your life can, you know, turn.
Yeah.
And you have to have things in place.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah,
and,
definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, he's probably gonna watch this and be like, yeah, when is it?
You know, touching on that subject, can you tell us a little bit about life insurance, just in case there's those that don't know what it might be? Because obviously, you know, it sounds like there may be
some people watching that want to know.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to touch on something first before we go to life insurance, because I just learned about this too, and I've actually been educating a lot of people about this. So, a friend of mine, her name is Monica. She educated me on this, and it's called funeral services, or called pre-need. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
I have.
Oh, you have?
Pre-need?
Okay. Pre-need. Yeah. So a lot of times when I meet with a client and they have a trust, and let's just say this gentleman does have life insurance, when you apply a claim for life insurance, you need a death certificate. Well, who gives you the death certificate?
Coroner's office.
The funeral services.
Oh, the funeral services, yeah.
But the funeral services won't give it to you, not always, but generally, if they don't get paid.
Ooh.
You follow me?
But you're waiting for the money. But
exactly.
I know where this is going.
You see the catch-22?
Wow.
Now, there's also a difference, though, between funeral services and burial services, right? They're 2 separate processes.
Right.
So what people need to do, I recommend, is to get funeral services or pre-need. Now, pre-need, because you're going to purchase these services. You're going to purchase them pre-need or at need when you need them. And someone's going to come out of pocket. So the best part is a few things. One, you fix the price at today's costs. So I always ask people, do you think the cost is going to go down or up in the future? And of course, it's going to go up. That's the first thing. Second thing is that you know your wishes will be
met.
You know, exactly, followed. And then number 3, which is probably the most important, really, is your children don't have to take care of this stuff.
Right.
Right? So funeral pre-need services, what they do is they work with local family-owned funeral homes, and they provide you much better competitive rates to get these things taken care of. Now, on top of that, definitely, you could get a life insurance policy, maybe a small one, right, to help your grandkids or to, you know, provide some additional coverage. And typically, with older people, they get what's called a final expense policy, right? It's a $5, $10, $15, $20,000 policy. But realistically, and I sell, life insurance, my recommendation now is you don't need life insurance. You actually need pre-need. Now, if we go above and beyond that, that's fine. But let's get this taken care of first. Because like you just said, Joe, I didn't know that. I really didn't. I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, yeah, everybody needs it.
They want their money.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
So you can't use life insurance to pay for funeral services up front.
Because I had a friend that was happening. They go, well, give me, so I could get the life insurance, I could pay you.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, well, you got to pay us. It was
Yeah,
a battle.
exactly. Yeah.
But I got to prove. I
Yeah.
need the proof.
Yeah.
They want the proof.
Yeah.
I remember.
So you can even, and what's cool is within funeral services, you can prepay the cost of death certificates. You can prepay even travel. So there's a benefit you can pay for. So let's say a lot of people are traveling, right? They're retired. I forgot. I don't want to be misquoted, but there's a price you pay where they will bring your body from wherever you are in the world
I know.
to the funeral.
about
to the
that
funeral.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents have that
Yeah.
because they have dual citizenship.
Yeah.
So, the majority of the time they're either in Mexico or they're here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, wait, so what if you're over there but you paid for everything here? Like, how am I going to bring you? We already have that. So I
Yeah.
have everything already all set, including flowers, everything.
Yes. Yeah.
of-
You
of-
could. Yeah. You can get almost everything
Yeah.
prepaid. The chapel, the flowers, everything. Yeah.
I just got my plot. That's it. They have to worry about the rest.
Yeah.
Okay. And I got life insurance. So,
Yeah, they
good.
did have life insurance, a life insurance policy, but we canceled that, and we just got the one that was for $20,000 each one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're older already, so we figured,
Yeah.
But you just try to make things a lot easier as
Yeah.
they get older.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's so because most of my clients have a trust, right? And that's that's the reason I'm meeting with them. And so this is something else that just it coincides with it. It's like because you get a trust because you're preparing for your kids and passing your assets, leaving a legacy. And so it's like, well, make sure you also have this taken care of, right? And people go, oh yeah, that makes sense. I've had questions about that, or maybe they go, to Forest Lawn or to some, mortuary or whatever the case may be. And sometimes it's really expensive. So when you have somebody else, it's almost like an independent broker, right?
Yeah.
You can save some money, might be less expensive, and that's
Yeah, and at that time you don't want to be worrying about those kind of things. You want to, be really just focused on what's going on instead of just adding stress to what you're already going through. So, yeah,
Yes.
and sometimes you just pay, you just write a check because you have no choice to do that. So it costs more.
Yeah, and I didn't know when I actually saw the paperwork to fill out that needs to be filled out when someone passes away. It's actually quite involved. It's not just name, address, phone number, date of birth. No, it's a lot of information.
Yeah.
And so when that's pre-filled out, like you said, it just makes it so much easier for your children.
It really does.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Now, going into life insurance, right? Do we have time for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, one of the things I love educating people on is living benefits. Have you guys heard of living benefits and life insurance?
Is it pulling already before you, pulling now, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. The technical name is accelerated death benefit riders. But essentially, if you have a terminal illness, a chronic illness, or a critical illness, like a heart attack, cancer, or stroke, you're able to access your life insurance policy completely tax-free.
Okay, can you help me with this? I've heard this, from a lot of people. They said that you get life insurance not because when you pass, your family gets it. It's in the name, life insurance, where you're paying into it so you could use it now while you're alive and pull, like you said, and use it for certain things.
Yeah, it depends on the policy you purchase, right? There's certain policies you could purchase that are just going to be a term policy, right? It's just going to cover you for 10 years. There's no living benefits. You don't have to purchase living benefits. They cost a little bit more, obviously.
Yeah.
But with living benefits, I always emphasize and ask, promote them, right? Say, look, if something happens, if you're terminal or chronic illness, like essentially critical or chronic illness is if you can't take care of yourself. And then like a heart attack, cancer, stroke, you can pull those funds. Because here's actually the more important reason. People think people go into medical bankruptcy usually because of medical bills. It's actually not. It's all the other bills you have that you can't pay, like your mortgage, your rent, your car note, all these other things. Guess what?
true.
Those don't stop.
Yeah.
So let's say you battle cancer and you can't work for 3 months. The hospital understands. They're going to work with you.
And they're going to write it off.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Right, but either way, or a payment plan or something
Something's
to
gonna
that
happen,
effect. Mortgage doesn't stop.
No, they'll kick
there's
you
no
out.
cancer.
They'll kick you out of the house,
Exactly.
foreclose you. You're
Yeah.
gone.
You're moving in with family.
Electricity bills shut off.
Yeah. So
Okay, you get it.
I'm moving
No,
in
but-
next door to Monica, Dave.
no, but really, so if you have this living benefits, right, and
Mm-hmm.
your pool, say 20, 30, 40, depending on your policy, you could pull, up to $100,000 tax free that you can use however you want.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
So
I've heard of that.
Yeah. So you can go, okay, now I'm not working, so my income is going to be covered, my bills are going to be covered. Maybe I need to try some experimental therapy that's going to pay me, cost more out of pocket. Living benefits.
I like it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's not for pre-existing. It's not a policy that people with
No.
pre-existing condition can obtain, right?
No.
Something that you have to have already have in place before you were diagnosed. Correct?
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and I received a phone call from a friend recently. I've been telling him, you need life insurance. You need life insurance. And then he got a scare. He had a biopsy. They weren't sure if it was cancer or not on a part of his body. I forget where, but, it was scary enough. And he's like, Nate, can I get a policy? And actually he's like, Nate, I need life
I'm
insurance.
gonna need that
I need
policy.
life insurance.
Yesterday.
Yeah, and I'm like, because that's on your medical report, you pretty much can't get it for at least 2 to 5 years. Wow. Yeah. Most of the time.
Welcome to the United States of America.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Wow. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for all this great information. Obviously, there's a lot more. As you
Yes.
can tell, he's
No.
full of knowledge.
Yes.
No, thank
so
you,
as
guys.
I mentioned, we're probably going to have to bring him in for a different subject at another time. But for our audience, how can they get a hold of you in case they need any of your services?
Yeah, the best way is I'm online. Obviously, this link, they can reach out to me directly. My cell phone number is 951-966-8905. But yeah, they can just reach out to me directly, and
And we'll
I will
provide
help
all that
people.
information.
Yes, we'll definitely provide the information.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. Really
Yes,
appreciate it,
thank
man.
you.
Oh, thank you
You're
guys,
very
seriously.
knowledgeable. And yeah, I would welcome you in my house and sit down. Yeah.
You
Appreciate it.
You explained everything very very well. I mean, I'm definitely just full of questions now, but thank you so much for all the information you provided today.
It's going to be a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah, no lie.
It could go on.
That's what, again, I enjoy educating people, and that was my goal. If I taught you guys something,
You definitely
it was
did.
all worthwhile.
I learned a
you
lot today.
thank
definitely
you.
did. Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Make sure you guys contact Nate, and we'll see you guys next week, Wednesday, 7 a.m. Don't forget YouTube and Facebook. We'll see you guys next week.